Chair recognizes Mr. Issa.
Thank you. I want to start off with a little outside the box question, but Ms. Shaw, you're currently acting. How long have you been acting?
Since December of 2020.
And the same for Ms. Aguilera?
Since June 1st of 2022.
Okay. And you're confirmed. When were you confirmed?
I was confirmed on November 30th of last year.
Okay. So you're confirmed. Your job does not serve quite as solely at the pleasure. For the other two of you, my understanding is you could be replaced at any time, either by a confirmation or by simply a selection that they take somebody else. Is that right?
In my case, certainly a nomination and a confirmation would ensure a permanent Inspector General, and I would revert back to my role as Deputy Inspector General.
And they have not named one at State. Is that right?
There's not currently a nominee.
How about at USAID?
We do not currently have a nominee, and the same would apply to me. I would go back to my permanent role as the General Counsel to the Inspector General.
Okay, but permanent role as General Counsel does not guarantee that you'd be the selection. They could take a deputy and promote them over you today. Is that correct?
To the permanent IG position, correct.
Okay. I'm asking only because this is deja vu all over again. In the Obama administration under Hillary Clinton, there never was an IG, a permanent IG, and that concerns me, and I just want to make sure that's in the record that for the three of you, I know you're doing your job, but I also know that it's a little bit easier to do your job when you go to the SIGI meeting and you don't have that acting temporary just passing through. So here's the sort of back to the main line of questioning. We have supplied training to more or less 100 countries, including we still supply training to Mongolia. We supply training to the Lebanese Armed Forces, the Jordanian, the list is endless. Is there anything special about the training for these people who, and the oversight? They're in the middle of a war. The weapons we give them, by definition, could be seized, destroyed, or lost in combat to an enemy at any time. Is there really any reason that we should be, oh boy, this is really different and so much better? Or in fact, are we basically giving them weapons and we should only be holding them to the standard that basically it's not being diverted, for example, the way it was in Afghanistan?
So thank you for the question, Congressman. I'll speak to the security aspect and then turn to my colleagues if they want to add anything. Yeah, it's a great question. And with regard to training, we have currently an ongoing project. So as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to get ahead of that because that's what makes our work authoritative, right, as we go through our processes. But I will say one difference with Ukraine is that from some prior situations is the United States is not standing up a new army and sort of training them from scratch, right? Ukraine has long had an established military, and the United States has had long experience with the Ukrainian military, and they've dealt with a lot of sophisticated weapons over the years. So we're providing new things to them, some more sophisticated weapons. Those require particular types of training. We're looking at that now at DoD OIG to make sure that's being provided comprehensively and efficiently. But I think that's one of the big differences here is we're dealing not just with an established military, but one that has worked with our military over the years for many years.
So I'm going to say to all of you, but I'll particularly move it toward DOD. From a standpoint of a success story, it's fair to say that as Inspector General and in the historic role that IGs play, that this is a continuous, evolving, and improving relationship and training very similar to what we deal with in our own armed forces and your IGs deal with. So I'm going to use the last 30 seconds for a different reason. In a few days, we'll be at Arlington with General Trefry, who, to a great extent, is the father of the modern IG. Back decades ago, he was tasked to straighten out the situation with inspector generals. As a three-star general, he took the assignment, and at 98, he'll be He surpassed, and he will be laid to rest. But as an admirer of the work that all of you do, an admirer of what IGs do for our country and, quite candidly, for our Congress in providing us eyes and ears, not just on what's wrong, but on the improvements and the success stories, I wanted to take a moment to honor him in addition to thanking all three of you. And, Mr. Chairman, thanks for the indulgence. I yield back.